Hello, welcome to my personal video diary. I am Mia Brooks, a senior mass comm major from St. Paul, Minnesota. I currently attend Jackson State University in Jackson, Mississippi. So a little bit about me. I am a member of Mad Drama Performance Troupe as well as the JSU chapter of NABJ. I have a wide variety of career goals. I love to creatively express myself through words and plan to become a blogger or a writer for a magazine and to also own my own blog one day. I'm also fascinated with the entertainment industry and would love to become a TV or radio correspondent. After I have achieved these goals, I plan to give back to my community as I feel strongly that it is important for everyone to help each other and to give back. I plan to open my own youth center in my hometown where kids can go and have a safe place and to express themselves and work on their talents and be a good part of the community. And I feel that it's very important to reach back because someone did it for me, so I feel that I should do it for others. Some of my hobbies when I'm not at school or studying are music, reading, and of course writing. It's what I do. And besides my mass communications career, I also would love to have a career in music. I am a singer and I've always grown up in music and wanting to be in the entertainment world. I feel like the sky is the limit, and with my education and my drive, there's nothing I can't do. So stay tuned. So I am here to talk to you about ethics. Ethics is basically a set of rules or moral code that one lives by. It kind of teaches you the ins and outs, do's and don'ts, yes and no's, right and wrongs of any situation that you may be in. So I feel that every person has two different sets of ethical codes, and that is your personal ethics and your professional ethics. Your personal ethics stem from your environment, how you were raised, who you were raised by, your family, the people that nurtured you and taught you the things that you know, as well as religion, because we do get a lot of our ethics and morals from our religion. So your personal code of ethics are the things that you personally believe in that are right for you, and you may strive to achieve these things in your home, in your personal life, with your children, with your family. Your professional ethics are a set of codes that apply to your profession, your occupation, your job, how you should behave in that professional setting. Your personal ethics and your professional ethics will not always be exactly the same, because how you may feel personally may not be the same way you feel in your professional setting, or the things that you may do at home and with your own children may not be the same things that you do in your profession or how you act and otherwise. So for me, I grew up in a Christian home, so most of my ethics do come from my religion, as well as who I was raised by, which is primarily my mother and my grandmother, who are also both Christian and have Christian backgrounds. So some of the things that I strive for in my personal ethics are responsibility, kindness, strength, honesty, excellence, and determination. Responsibility is important to me because I feel that whatever my job is, whether it be a student, a mother, a teacher, a sister, a daughter, whatever it is, I feel like I should take that job seriously and carry it out and do the best that I can to fulfill that job, and to also be dependable for others who may need me and do depend on me. Kindness, I feel that I do believe in what goes around comes around. I do believe in karma. So kindness is something that I strive for because I want to put good energy out so that I may receive good energy back. Now, there are some stipulations that it comes with kindness. I am a person who doesn't like to be taken advantage of, and I don't like for my kindness to be, taken for granted. So there are some stipulations, but I'm generally striving to be a kind person to those who are kind to me. Excellence and determination is probably one of the most important parts of my code of ethics, especially right now as a college student. I've always been taught to strive for the best and never settle for less. It is very important for you to be the very best that you can be. So excellence and determination is something that I really strive for, and I always try to do my best and to reach my full potential, because I do believe that the sky's the limit and that I can do whatever I put my mind to. So I try to strive for that in my everyday life, whatever it be, whatever it may be, whether it's school, work, or any personal goals that I set for myself. I do try to take them seriously and to do the best I can at them. Respect is also very important, especially as a woman and as a black woman. I feel that I hold myself at a high pedestal and that I have a certain image to live up to, and I should always respect myself as a person, as a woman, respecting my body and my mind, because I feel that if I don't respect myself, then no one else will respect me. And that is also a message that I would like to teach other young girls, and to build their self-esteem and for them to have great respect of themselves. Strength. I feel that strength is very important because life is going to throw curveballs at you. So it is important for me to be strong and to not give up, not to quit, because Lord knows there have been many times where I wanted to quit undergrad and I'm still not done. So I have to keep that strength, to keep that motivation in the back of my mind to keep going. So that is something that is very important to me also. Honesty. Honesty is very important to me because it's something that has been instilled in me from a young age, mostly by my grandma. And it also comes from my Christian background. I was always taught that honesty is the best policy. If you've heard those sayings, the truth will set you free, all of those was something that was very important in my household and something that was taught to me. And I feel that it's sort of like what you reap what you sow. So if you are honest, then someone will be honest to you, and you don't have to worry about all the drama and all the things, all the negative connotations that come with being dishonest. So even though most of my personal ethics come from my childhood, my upbringing, the people who raised me, and also my religion, I do believe that your experiences as time go by can change your ethics, because you experience new things, you learn new things, and you're going to grow. So things are not going to be the exact same as they were when you were a child. For example, I was always taught by my grandma that, being kind to someone and always being nice to someone, and, to overextend yourself to someone, because that is just the right thing to do. As I had got older and experienced more things, I started to see that I don't have to be kind to everyone. If I'm kind to someone and they are unappreciative and they take advantage of my kindness, then I feel that I don't have to give it to them. That is something that I learned through experience, and that is an ethic that sort of changed as I grew and learned more. So I do feel that your ethics will change. They won't stay the same, but there is a foundation of, your religion and your upbringing is where they come from. But as you grow and experience new life and new experiences, they will change. So in conclusion, no one is perfect, but your personal ethics help you to strive for that sense of perfection. That is what they're there for. And I feel that they are kind of like a guide to life to help you go in the right direction and make the best decisions that you can, even though you're going to fall short every time. Your personal ethics just keep you grounded and help you kind of have that foundation. So in conclusion, I would say that the things that are most important to me and that I strive for in everyday life is to always respect myself and to treat people the way I want to be treated, because I do believe in karma, and if you put good things out there, good things will come back to you. So that is my personal ethics. So professional ethics can be very similar to personal ethics. And it's basically a moral code or set of rules that one must abide by in the workplace. And as a mass communications major with career goals of becoming a radio and TV personality as well as a author and a blogger, I have a certain professional code that I also have to abide by. And it may differ from other professions or other concentrations of mass communications. So most of my professional ethics come from the Radio, Television, Digital News Association. And it has, a certain set of codes that I should abide by as a journalist that is going to work in radio and TV. And some of these ethics are public trust. As a journalist or a radio and TV personality, I'm going to be talking to people on air or on the radio and giving them certain information. My first obligation is to the public. I serve the public are my viewers, the public is what makes my job even possible. So the public should be able to completely trust any information that I give out. Any facts, any stories, anything that I say while I'm working, the public should know that it is true, it's correct, it's accurate, and they should trust me with that because that is my job. And that also ties into the next code, which is seek the truth. This is probably one of the most important codes of journalism. Our job is to always seek the truth, report the truth. You never want to report something that is untrue, knowingly anyway. So if you are on a story or you're saying, even in entertainment, you're saying something about an artist, it has to be true. You have to have verified information and verified sources. You should never have any sources that are unreliable, undependable, and inaccurate, because the public trusts you to give them the truth about whatever it is that you are reporting. So, fairness. Fairness is also something that journalists have to go by. We should always be fair by treating all subjects of news coverage with respect and equally as well. And show compassion to victims of certain circumstances, certain tragedies. Children are also to be treated in a fair way. And you should also be fair with your views that you're presenting. It's very important to be unbiased. So, whereas in your personal codes, you may feel that A is right, but in your profession, you have to present A and B. You can't just go by A because that's what you like and that's what you feel, because that is biased and therefore unethical as a journalist. Integrity. Acting with integrity means avoiding all conflicts of interest and respecting the audience and news subjects. So, to have integrity as a journalist, you should follow all codes, basically, and act with a certain decency for the public. Meaning, you're not going to do anything to harm them, to wrong them, to deceive them. And that's how you have integrity. There are also things like you should never pay news sources. That's unethical, or accept gifts or favors for stories or sources or anything like that, because that does compromise your integrity. Independence. Journalists should also gather and report news without fear or favor and resist influences from people that are like advertisers or sources or special interest group, because that is unethical. You are reporting, and that's all you should be doing. You shouldn't be doing it for anything other than that's your job, and there should be no other side things going on, because that is, again, a conflict of interest, and therefore you're not acting with integrity if you're doing that. Accountability. I feel that accountability although it's related to integrity, is very important as a journalist because we must all be held accountable for our actions. And your responsibility to the public also. You're accountable for everything that you say and do as a journalist, and to serve the public, because that is your audience and that is who makes your job. Your professional ethics are what holds you accountable to be the best at whatever your profession is. Doctors, lawyers, nurses, they all have a professional code of ethics that they have to follow, a certain set of rules that holds them accountable and makes sure that they are doing what they're supposed to do. Recently, we have been discussing the code of ethics and journalists who have violated this code of ethics and the consequences that they have faced. One of the people that we talked about was Janet Cook, who was a writer for the Washington Post. She is known for her story, her widely publicized story about an 8-year-old heroin addict that lived in the D.C. area. She won a Pulitzer Prize for the story and was featured on all types of networks and everything, but it turned out that the story was completely fabricated and Jimmy did not exist. I felt that Cook was wrong for fabricating this story because she violated the code of ethics to seek the truth, and she violated the public's trust. As a journalist, you are the voice, you are a speaker, you are the face. Even if you are writing for a newspaper, you are still a representative of that paper and also yourself. And you have an obligation to the public because they are reading the information, receiving the information that you give them, and they expect it to be true. So I understand Cook's motive and what she wanted to do. She wanted to create a great story. She wanted to be a headliner. She wanted to be a front pager. And in her defense, she felt that as a black woman, she had to do something out of the box, something crazy, something unordinary for her to achieve the heights of success that she wanted. And although I understand that she felt that as a woman and as a black woman that she had to do more, and you do have to go above and beyond as a minority, as a woman, and as a black woman. But there is a certain way that you go about things, and that is the code of ethics. You still have to always follow those ethics, because if you don't, nothing good is going to come out of it. You will be caught eventually. But I do feel that, even though I don't know Cook personally, I don't want to judge her bad ethical decision that she made in the story for Jimmy's World and say that she is an unethical person overall, because I do believe that as humans we make mistakes, and she made an unethical professional decision that doesn't necessarily speak for her personal ethics. And at the time, maybe she did not feel that she was doing anything wrong. And as far as consequences, I feel that journalists should suffer consequences if they are unethical, because this is your job and it's something that you signed on to do. Even if you don't sign a contract saying I will be ethical, if it's kind of like an unwritten understanding that you will be ethical, you will seek the truth, you are the voice of the people, and that you will take that to heart and hold yourself accountable. So I do feel that she should suffer some consequences, but I don't necessarily want to say that her whole career should have been ended. But again, because she did lose the public's trust, the public sort of ended her career, because now that she has fabricated a whole story, and she really upset a lot of people because she took a subject that was very sensitive about a child being on drugs, an 8-year-old shooting up heroin into his arm, which many people were very affected by this story, and they were reaching out wanting to help. So to learn that it wasn't true was sort of like a betrayal. I feel like the public felt very betrayed by her because she took something so serious and that affected a lot of people, and it turned out not to be true. Another journalist who has recently come under fire for behaving unethically is Brian Williams. Brian Williams was a very popular nightly news host for NBC, and he basically got in trouble for also fabricating a story that Many say did happen, some say that it didn't happen, but he told a story about being on a certain plane and gave very explicit details about this altercation that happened on the plane in the Iraq War, and it turned out to not be true. What upset most people about Brian Williams was that he continued to tell this story over and over again, and each time he told the story, new things appeared in the story, which often happens when someone is lying. You have to keep fabricating that lie to try to keep up with it to make it appear as true. So as of right now, Williams has been suspended without pay for 6 months. We do not know if he will get his job back, but it is my guess that he won't be able to return there, and they'll probably buy him out of his contract, because with his lying, it has compromised the company, and NBC does not want to be known as someone that hires journalists who go against ethics of seeking and reporting the truth and going against the public's trust, which is a very important ethic in the world of journalism. So some people have said that when he first told the story, he was on an entertainment show, something like Jimmy Kimmel or David Letterman type of thing. And some people have said that he wasn't wrong for telling the story initially, because is he considered a journalist on an entertainment show? Because he wasn't on ABC or Dateline or NBC, which are news journalists avenues. The question is, are you a journalist all the time? Are you bound to your professional ethics in whatever setting that you are in? And I feel that this is a really good question. It's kind of difficult to answer. I'm not sure if there is a definite yes or no all the time. But I feel that even though it was an entertainment show, you are still representing yourself, and if you are a known journalist, you would never go on even an entertainment show and tell something that is not true. And I feel like at that time, his professional ethics still held true, and he should have held himself accountable to them, even though he was not in his professional setting. He was in a different setting, but he still was a journalist at that time. One of the components of ethics is ethical theories. And Kant, who was a critical thinker and a philosopher, developed moral theories that give you kind of a rubric to behave morally wrong and morally right. One of his theories, which is a duty-based theory called the deontological theory, states that moral rules should be universally applied to everyone, and that respect and dignity should be given to people at all times. For this duty-based theory, instead of focusing on consequences, deontologists emphasize the commitment to principles that can be applied universally. So, for example, someone like Robin Hood would be considered a bad guy instead of a hero because he stole from the rich to give to the poor. In this theory, you cannot use foul or harmful means to get to a positive end. And this is kind of where that saying, the ends don't justify the means. You can't bring somebody down to lift you up. And I felt like this was really interesting because in our society, that's kind of what we live by. We're kind of a I'm going to get you back kind of society, or I'm going to pull you down and step on you, especially if we view that person or that party as bad. So in Robin Hood's case, he had a lot of people starving, so he chose to steal from the rich to feed the poor, which in Kant's view is still wrong because you can't use that to, pull yourself up because it is negative, and that's not how you get a positive.
Hey, my name is Jermichael Bridges. What I think about ethics, having a code of ethics is important for everybody to have in order to distinguish between what is right and wrong. Adopting the code of ethics will help anyone become a successful individual. We as a society need code of ethics to improve relationships, prohibit inappropriate behavior, and keep everybody in check with themselves. In order for big businesses to be successful, they must live by the code of ethics. Without the code of ethics, every business, community, and family will clash forever.